should do that thing.
Yeah. I need to find that post. It was, it was, it was like a step-by-step guide to the finals, and it was
Yeah,
like
I remember. I think I read that this morning. That's
ga- game one, he gets a double prize penalty for a previous round,
yeah.
then starts Marshadow, and is just like, right, well, he needs to take two prizes before I've taken six, essentially. So, game two, he double attaches, and Caleb just goes, yeah, cool, picks him up.
Yeah. I guess you won, huh?
Guess who won?
Oh,
And
crumbs, you didn't win. Well, you did win, but
and then game three, he receives a double prize penalty for that, even though Caleb's already conceded.
yeah.
Um, then filches for two cards, puts them next to his active, and doesn't use them.
Unreal. It's like
He,
Empoleon Level
yeah,
X's
that's
ability.
exactly what I said. He played Empoleon Level X himself. And the best part was he did all this stuff, and then I think a judge pointed them out to them. He picked up, he was like, "Oh, my turn is completely different now." He like attaches Guzma's, and then he's like, "Oh, I could have got a knockout on anything this turn."
Yeah.
Oh. So he's like, just slowly like moves his hand towards Caleb, and Caleb like doesn't want to shake it because he doesn't know what the hell is going on.
No.
Rukan's just like, "Yeah, have the win.
Good
Just
night.
have it."
I need some sleep.
It was done in 20 minutes. The
Yeah.
final was finished in 20 minutes. It was
Insane.
insane.
Mad
It's
Captain,
funny.
how's it going?
It's
Poor Rukan as well. I was so glad to see him make it to the final because
Yeah.
he's just an honest, hard-working guy.
he tests more than I think anyone I know.
Yeah.
He's always testing future formats as well. So
hmm
it's unfortunate to see him. Unfortunately, not do as well. But I think I saw Will Post say today that he could tell it was just tiredness and nerves. At the end of the day, it was 9 rounds the day before, plus 6 that day, plus another 2. So that was the end of round 18. I
And
don't.
on stream in a final, like yeah, he is still
It
new to
does.
that arena, even though he's been
Yeah.
playing for like 2 seasons now, or like
Still.
1.5 seasons. This is like a big break for him, so it is. There are extra nerves added to that.
Yeah.
AKD, how's it going? Mad Captain, yeah, missed watching the finals. I would suggest looking back at it. There are moments of intrigue, I would say.
Yeah. Talk Great Ball to me. Well, we'll have a chat about Great Ball later, I think. But
It's
Great
officially
Ball
a
is
great ball
a fun card that. There was a car of us go to a cup this weekend, and there were 16 Great Balls being played
in that car.
in that one car.
Shortstop Gaming, thank you for the cheer of the 1 bit. Hope you're having a good
Very
day
nice.
today.
Did we see the Japan results? We have seen the Japan results. I do want to talk about them, but not yet. I think probably after we've had Frankfurt, we'll look at them. It's going to be like a couple of weeks away, but the format isn't relevant for us right now.
Thank you for the
But
bits. Make love, not war, Turtle. Sorry,
that
carry on.
being said, the Japan results are really interesting.
Draw 4 with Lily, I guess. Oh, the follow as well. Thank you, Shortstop Gaming.
Hey, welcome to the team.
I'm just gonna use my turn 1 supporter to draw 4 cards here. Because our turn 2 is actually insane, so... Great Ball is a good card, I know. I play 4. And another bit. Thank you, Shortstop.
Bits everywhere.
Do I want this for the potential Zoroark next turn? Or the potential... No, I think it's best just to pass here. Great Ball meta, Omega lol. It is indeed. Oh, crumbs. He lost. Doesn't play enough Great Balls. Whoops.
Dragon Quest tournaments.
Is Metagross good again? With many exclamation marks and question marks. I would still say... like, that's my reaction to it, really. I mean, he played 2 Steven's Resolve and the baby Metagross. So I'm immediately skeptical. And the 2-2 Solgaleo when it could just be another, like, a basic that blows things up. So yeah, there's a lot of cynicism going on. Would I rather Kukui before Nestball to have higher chance of getting more basics down? I think we Nestball first. We'd rather draw into another Zoroark or another supporter card. Okay. Glad we sorted that out. Let's get the broken Kukui going. Oh, well, we drew a supporter card, but it's terrible, so...
Hey, Charlie. How you doing, buddy?
Charlie, how's it going? Gets the Marshadow down straight away. Waste no time. We do play weakness policies in our list. It looks like he's just playing Rukan's build. Because Friend Ball is also in the meta now. That's a clean Lilifray.
Pretty clean.
Feels good, man. Weakness Policy is such a good card. I played it this weekend and it helped me tie and beat 3 fighting decks. So yeah, I agree. AKD, hello. Hadn't had time to play Dragon Quest 9. No, you're sad. There's always time. Gotta make time. Why would he skateboard the active and not retreat? That's my question. Ooh, almost failed. This looks pretty good. I think I want to keep these. I may end up ultra balling this Weavile anyway. But I want to keep it for options. That feels like a pretty good turn too. Getting the non-GX and the active especially. Now he needs to have like Malamar, Guzma in a 5-card hand.
Mally goes.
Well, there's one Mally. Even if he has Mally Guz, the Weavile sweeps it. So maybe he can't even go for Guzma, even if he wants to. And we're already holding Choice Band, and Nest Ball, and Ultra Ball, and Stretcher. So this Marshadow should be dead in both scenarios. Unless he gets down Pseudo-Wudo. More than normal gaming, how's it going?
Normal, yeah. Enjoy your first stream here.
Everyone losing their minds over Friend Ball. We'll be going over the results of Philly pretty early on in the stream. I'll let a few more people get in here. And look at the top 8 results on Limitless and the broader spectrum on the complexity graph. And then we will be talking about what that means for Frankfurt, which is coming up for us.
Oh, crumbs.
And they're going for Hypnosis. Alright, Cat, where are you going? Do you want to do something? What are you doing? Yeah, there you go. Good decision. Have a little pop a squat right here. Since I'm against the Mali deck, what variant do I think is best? Psychic or Shrine? I think Rukan's list isn't a bad baseline for anyone to look at. To be honest.
I think, to be fair, Malamar has kind of proved after Psychic doing well this weekend that all three variants can do well.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra did well first week, Shrine did well, has done well a lot of cups and did well second week, and Psychic has done well this week. So I think Malamar in general, Malamar doesn't feel like tier 1 best deck in format, but it feels like any variant of Malamar can serve you well and take you to day 2.
I agree.
And maybe, like, Rukan got all the way to the final with it, so maybe it can win you tournaments as well. But it feels... Malamar does feel like a pretty safe pick a lot of the time.
Got a cat in the way of my screen. It's the only way this Malamar player wins is if the cat messes me up. Come on, cat. Out the way. Good girl. Yep, okay. Yep. It's all fun and games for you, cat. I feel like the kind of all-in play to go to 2 prizes right now sounds really excellent because we have the Weavile already set up and we have the stretcher for Zoroark anyway. So why not just win in 3 turns? Yeah, there you go. Very thorough. I mean, the Psychic... It's going to be one of these meta adaptation things. We'll have to talk about it when we look at the results and then talk about our thoughts about what you think you're going to see. The Psychic one with the with the Marshadows seems to have some answers to Zoroark, but if it's going to be Zoro Banette, I think you're still in a bad shape. Ultra Squid's probably the best matchup against Zoroark players. Also keeps up with Vika Ray, but probably worst against the Shrine stuff, and probably the least consistent in a vacuum. And the Shrine stuff does lose out by not being able to play the Ultra of the Moons, but we saw the Rukan just went for skateboards anyway, so maybe that's an adaptation that the Shrine build can look at now, even with high Coco count. It depends what you're trying to beat at the end of the day. As with every deck, right?
Yeah. All 3 are viable and it's just a meta call. It's like Zoro variants. There's a lot of different Zoro variants that are viable. It's just what one will serve you the best.
Oh, crumbs.
Oh, crumbs.
Fan Club isn't prized. Let's go for Fan Club. Fan Club into Zoroark Cynthia sounds quite good.
At least.
What do we think about straight Metagross? I think if you're playing Metagross, you can play Solgaleo, or you can just play basic GX attackers. I personally lean more towards the basic GX attackers, but...
I agree. This weekend, there was 2 that made top 78 that we know of. There's still 2 unknown decks, is what I'd say.
Yeah.
One was the Metagross Solgaleo, the top 4, or top 8. I think it's top 8, actually.
Yeah.
The other was Metagross Ultra Necrozma, which is interesting. I think, to me, Duskmane still seems like a potentially better pick. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra Neck is sometimes one less energy. That's the upside. The downside is you got to play a split.
Yeah,
A heavier than like 1-8 split or whatever the kids do
yeah,
these days.
the kids. They're the kiddies.
Dombro01, thank you for the 6th month resub. Here is
Hey,
your little Jimmy. Enjoy the emote for a continued month, my friend.
thank you very much, Dumbo. Really appreciate it.
Let's get our free baby buzz out, because that's going to help us get a KO this turn. Because we need basics. Beetlemon says, oh crumbs. How's it going, Beetlemon?
Oh, crumbs. Oh, no energy turn 1. 3.
We do have Power Pad, right? Yeah. We will need it.
Joe's not on his new PC yet. Don't think it's arrived yet.
Nah. It's still the old crummage. As you may be able to tell, because everything's going slow motion.
Slow motion. Oh, crumbs.
Didn't high roll the stadium. Feels bad, man. But we did get double weakness policy pretty early. You won Norwegian Nats yesterday playing a build with literally just the Metagross, and you played versus 5 Zoroarks. That's really impressive.
Nice. Congrats, dude.
It's an interesting war of attrition, to be honest. I'm surprised that you come out on top against that many Zoroarks. If they're playing Double A Acerola, Max Potion, and Power Pad, I would think it's a losing battle. Unless you're playing Hammers, or something along those lines. Is there a different means of you winning that matchup that I'm not seeing? Next card, do you really...
Really crumbed me.
Absolutely. Probably lots of max potions. Yeah, I mean, I expect the max potions. It's just if there's anything else. This is so dumb. 4 untradeable cards. Excellent. Use Smooth Over too. I'm pretty worried about a Field Blower coming down. Field Blower comes down, we need to be able to deal with a buzz of some description, one of these two. And the best way is probably... I don't even know. I'm going to play the Mallow but not trade this turn. I want to put a tradable card on top, I think. Does that even make sense? Let's get rid of one of these. Draw into a Zoroark so we can draw even more cards, I guess. It's such a weird line to put a Mallow for a stupid card. Let's not do that. Let's just hope our prize is dumb. And get a helpful card if things go decently. Do I want an attachment? I guess I do. Sure, an attachment can't be wrong. You kill them and they die? How do you kill them, though? I don't understand. Metagame doesn't kill anything.
I have 5 energy prize this game with my 9.
Oh
That's
no.
not good. It's not good at all.
What are you playing?
Buzz. Garb.
Garbage. I core beam all the Zoroarks. What the hell is core beam? Is that the first attack? Is that the Beldum attack? And no one heals it? Why would you put the 30 on the Buzzwell? That's super weird.
Core beam.
USP45 Master, thank you for the 100 bits saying, love you guys, take my money. We will. Thank you.
Love your guys. Oh, as if my beast energy's prized as well. This is absolute crumb. Absolute plum preserve.
$130 is a good number. Let's put it in. I think it may be the time to power pad, but it may also be next turn. Why make a decision now when we can make it later? Greetings from the Australia place. You're coming down for the IC. Haven't made many plans for next year just yet. I think a lot is going to be happening for me in my personal life, and I'm hoping that gives me more availability for tournaments. Just don't know if it gives me the money for tournaments. So it's going to be a balancing act. I hope to be there. I imagine I will be.
Joe's getting married. No way. Hold on.
That's not it.
That's not right.
Play the Zoro dashing pouch list. I'm playing my cup list, Sean. It's not a girl. No, it's my work.
Girl for sure. Australia would be cool.
Now, he's given us our baby buzz turn, which is great. So we're going to want to pal pad back in these 2 Guzmas at pace.
Stop. At pace.
We're going to want to start training for these again with some haste.
Jack and Jill are having a baby. Don't tell everyone, Domro. Who won Canuck? Luke Kirkham did. It was a pretty stacked top 8, to be fair. Kirkham Joe and Tamal made it top 4 with Alex Pike, another well-known player in the UK. It was a good laugh.
It was a pretty nice tournament as well. We got to go at, what, like 8:30, something like that? No, later. About 9:30.
Yeah.
But still, for a UK Cup, that ain't bad.
It's not bad.
Alright, so we've jumped Sledge turn. He's already Mad Cargoed a few times, so we know he's not playing Field Blower. Otherwise, we'd be toast. He has no energy on his Rock Ruffs. It is B-String turn. There's no Stadium just yet. So I'm hoping, even with Smooth Over, it may be tricky for him. He's also trying to navigate not playing down too many abilities. He's already got 2 in play. Any Lycanrocs coming down or Orangaroo coming down is a feast for the Weavile. So we're actually posing a bit of a headache for him at this moment. Depends how much B-String action we see here. Here comes Mad Cargo into Acrobike, so it's going to be good. Playing this list all night. Honestly, we won't be playing for long. We're going to be discussing the meta more than anything else. Ooh, so they may actually have some, like, E-switch shenanigans going on here. Oh, they're just going to Baby Buzz the Sneasel. That's not bad for us.
We're moving back to Theorymon Mondays, I think. Now we actually have theory to talk about. Turns out, theory is good. 1, 2, 3.
So, if we KO the active and put down another Sneasel, what does that do for us? Or do we need to just hit the Lycanroc straight away? If we hit Lycanroc straight up, he can GX us, and then he's 1 prize away, but we deal with the Lycanroc. He'll still have a B-String turn next turn, though. That's the real problem. If we take a prize this turn, he's off B-String. So that's what we probably got to do. Okay. We do have some fear of losing to Lycanroc, though. It's a genuine concern at this point. Start by trading away Diancie. We don't need that one. We again want to Guzma up. Oh, we want to Guzma the Rockruff, but I can't spend the Lele on it because we need to develop the Weavile. So, worst case scenario, we miss the Goose off this trade, which is, you know, not super likely. Yeah, there were two that we power-padded back in, of course. So it looks like we're just going to have to settle for this. I'm going to attach to bench here, because then at least he needs to have energy second Lycanroc. Otherwise, we can GX him straight back, and we already have the other blend. We have the other unit for the Weavile. So we're representing game on 2 fronts now. If he, yeah. CR Quick cheering 20 bits, saying great ball and a big love heart. Matt GHY, how's it going? Joe, you played a great ball. I did.
Zorro pouches.
I mean, Sean, you say every deck is good to me, right? There's plenty of these decks out there that you've said have been good and haven't been good as well. Let's get that clear. Let's get that sorted. 16, 17, 18 with our Dangerous Rogue. So, at the moment, we need to dig for our choice band, right? Oh, no. We have played 2 choice bands. That's news to me.
Oh dear.
I love throwing. It's great. It's like the best feeling. Crumbs. What do I do then? I wasn't even paying attention to his entire turn, so I don't know if he smooth overed before or after. I just don't even know. Well, this is all we can do, because I was stupid. Got rid of both choice bands.
Crumbs.
Half of them you're memeing. I mean, when do I know? How am I meant to fish out the memes and the dreams?
Dreams. Why have I lost again, Ree? Okay.
Why was it the deck you were going to play if it's not the deck you're going to play? Why is it a was and not an is?
Because he's not going anymore.
Oh. Crumbs. It's hard. It's also bad to say that that's the deck you're going to play before seeing for the results. It's kind of like everyone was like just kind of waiting for these results anyway. So there's not too much weight in that statement. I would say. Oh. Ha-ha! It's all gonna be okay. Got him. What a mess of a game. Let off by the clownery. How many Great Balls would you have played, Mark? That's the real question. Zero? Mark, they're the play. They're the play these days. Oh my clowny loss. See, Luke, that's all that we had to do to beat you in top 4, right there. That's all we needed. A lot of clownery. Okay. We'll do a quick Canuck recap, because I guess I did okay. Me and Jack both went to Canuck on yesterday.
No, I didn't go.
I went to Canuck on my own yesterday. And me and not Jack both played Zoro Weavile. I definitely played Buzzwole parts in the list, and Jack didn't play Burnett in his. As a 2-1 line. The rest of the deck is relatively similar, except that he didn't play Policies, and obviously his energies were rainbows, or they would have been if he was there. And I don't know what else may have been different. But I think the engine was more or less the same.
Yeah, I think if I would have played, there would have been maybe 5 cards different at most, other than like energy swaps.
You played like 1 less Lele, 2-1 Burnett, extra Sneasel.
So the Lele was swapped for a Sneasel. The Burnett line was
Is
swapped
the Buzz
for.
stuff.
Oh, I played a 1 with Cargo.
Oh, you played 1 with Mad Cargo. Or would have, at least.
Or would have.
If he had attended, which he didn't. So I did have on my phone my matchups, but my battery died, so I'm going to have to try and do this off memory. Round 1, I faced Zygarde Lycanroc. I'm able to win game 1 after a few whiffs from my opponent, and weakness policy actually worked, so I could do Ace or other things and actually stay ahead. Lost game 2, as I should. By the way, it's Zygarde Lycanroc playing EXP shares, so it's really bad. So I was able to squeak the tie, which I'm happy with. Round 2, I face Espeon Garb. Very easy matchup. And it's just simple, really. Round 3, I am up against Buzzgarb Shrine. This is a pretty rough matchup, obviously. It's not playing any Weaviles, which was like the sort of revelation from Philly. But it was just a more standard version, or like a previously seen version of Buzzgarb Shrine. Again, weakness policy is the only reason I'm able to win that series. It's still very close. I am playing Kukui, Palpad, and Devoured Fields to deal with the Buzzwolves. I have to go all in with weakness policies on the Zoroarks to kill like Garbodors and stuff. Max potioning as much, Ace Eroding as much as I can, using max potion correctly, all that good stuff. And yeah, I was able to win 2-1, close series. Yeah, probably the closest series I had that day. I think this deck is kind of risky to play with a lot of Buzzgarb Shrine, and obviously it won again this weekend with Weavile in as an added threat. So I think this deck is probably not playable for Frankfurt, just as like a caveat to this. But I was able to beat the one Buzzgarb Shrine I played on the day. In round 4, I'm up against Pessimian. Again, weakness policy is the hard carry in that matchup. I was so pleased to put the weakness policies in this list. I was just Acerilla bouncing the Zoroarks, and again, it was relatively routine. There was a couple of counter catches that made things scary. It meant that I just had one Zoroark that I was bouncing until I found my second policy. Then I could put 2 Zoroarks down and bounce those 2 and just keep setting a Zorua back down. But yeah, that was the only thing I had to manage there, really. In round 5, I face Ultra Squids. I go first against Ultra Squids, and I'm like, this is just going to be fine. I get to Lily for a hard 8 cards. I then find no draw supporter or means to Zoroark turn 2. I top deck Cynthia, insta-play it, because there's no other playables in my hand, which is like so rare when you actually look at the cards that I play. It's so ridiculous that I had no cards that I could play. And then from that Cynthia, I again get no means of Zoroark or energy cards, so I have to... I think I sneaky smash... Wait, did I go first or second? Anyway, in one of the games I sneaky smash. I think I ambushed at one point. And then on turn 3, I get my Zoroarks up, but I miss a Weavile KO on an Ultra neck, and I end up losing that game because he's able to hit B-String on the right turn to like see him through, even just because I was too behind, losing a Sneasel and missing a Raj's Beating on turn 2. I felt very behind. But games 2 and 3, well, game 2 was just routine. I was actually able to get 2 Sneasel and 4 Zorua down turn 1, and absolutely just blew him over, as I was able to evolve them this time and actually attack. And in game 3, I actually end up like donking him over 2 turns as he couldn't do anything. But because the game 2 was so fast, I played like really fast as well, just because everything was going well in game 2. I feel like I would have had time to complete a series for a third game, and I feel like I need to have as bad a luck as game 1 to not win that series, so I don't feel too bad about sort of high rolling him in game 3 after low rolling so much game 1. So I think it balances out. And then so I'm 401, I can ID with Alex Pike into cut. In top 8, I face Stack Attacker Naganadel. Game 1, he doesn't attach an energy card for the first 6 turns, so I'm close to decking out because I have so many trades and my hand is ridiculous, and I can just make every player want to every single turn, and I have so much prior damage on the board that it's all going to be good. In game 2, he's also playing a Healy build because he's playing a thick Naganadel line, so he plays 2 Acerilla, 2 Max Potion. I play 1 Max Potion, 2 Acerilla Palpad, and we exchange literally like 4 turns of us going 110, Acerola, 110, Acerola, 110, Acerola, 110, Palpad, Acerola, Acerola, put them back in, Lele for Acerola, 110. So we do that whole thing until we're both out of healing cards, but because I still have more healing cards than him, I just win. So it was really dumb.
Excellent.
So yeah, that was that. And then in top 4, I faced Luke Kirkham, third guy, with Buzzrock. and he absolutely annihilated me. Not even close. Game 1 I draw poorly, and my lone Zorua is killed, and I just have 4 Zoroarks in my hand, and I can't do anything with them, and I just lose very, very quickly in Scoop, after literally just going like energy drive. Ugh. Okay, I lost, right? Yeah. And then game 2 is really similar. I set up a bit better. There's a turn where I actually make him have to try and get stuff, but he had already had his Mag Cargo set up, where he had to hit Choice Band, Diancie, B-String, and Kukui? No, it had to be just those 3 cards, right? Choice Band, Diancie, Kukui... Choice Band, Diancie, B-String was what would get it. He already had a Mag Cargo online, and he was able to Buzzwole GX through a Weakness Policy Zoroark, which was like my only hope of ever getting that game close. But yeah, he basically just didn't miss a beat in either game, and Buzzrock is very hard for this deck. So yeah, that's where my tournament ended, and then Luke had the same matchup in the final, and he was able to win. It was actually the deck that Jack would have played had he had attended this tournament, which was, as we said, no Buzzwole package, but instead was playing the Burnett line. Anecdotally, Zoro Weavile felt really good for the day. I think Buzzgarb Shrine was my hardest matchup, and the fact they play Weavile now makes it probably unplayable. The Buzzwole package that I added to the deck was to improve the Zoroark matchup, and I didn't face any Zoroarks, so I can't really give any comments there, but Buzzwole has 130 hit points, and that protects you from dropping an early prize a lot of the time, and that's really good for like New Age Zoroark. It's bad enough losing a Zorua, because you can't turn that into a Zoroark, but it's just such an easy prize for them to take. It can really get the ball rolling for them, and it means that late game, if you have any of your like Sneasels or Weaviles or something threatened, that can actually be a liability for you, because it's also their means of Guzma for game. So having a 130 HP guy sat there for turn 1 means it doesn't die straight away, and can actually start putting pressure on the opponent with our 1 energy attachments. So it was actually a helpful card in like 1 or 2 scenarios, even though I didn't face any Zoroarks. So I thought it was kind of justified. I was actually testing in the build-up to this little cup for like 2 or 3 days. I was trying straight Zoroark without the Weavile, and had a slightly thicker Buzzwole. I had literally a 3rd Buzzwole, and then just had more supporter cards, because I was just depressed with how I was finding the deck in terms of how it drew. But then we saw the Philly stream and saw Pendy play 4 Great Balls, and we were literally just excited to play Great Ball, to be honest. So that's why we did that, and Weavile just sounded good, so I ended up putting that in. So yeah, it was a roundabout way to come up with this list, a weird sort of journey, and ended up with a random top 4. Got another cup before Frankfurt as well. That's with Dragon Majesty legal, so hopefully that'll be another good experience before the big regionals coming up. So
that's an older shot, Joe.
It is an older shot.
There it is.
Aldershot League Cup happening on Sunday. The game shop in Aldershot. It is full, I believe, or can we? Is there?
It is full, but there is a reserve list. So
there is a reserve list.
People drop out.
So if we head over to Facebook and look up the game shop Pokemon League Cup, it'll definitely come up.
Yeah.
What's that date? What date is it?
It's the 23rd.
23rd.
Good venue. Me and Joe both like it there.
We do really like it there. We've both had success there. So
yeah.
We genuinely do like it there. And they haven't had League Cups for a little while, so
good to...
It's going to be good to go back there. It's one of the first tournaments I ever attended, actually. It's the second ever tournament I attended was Aldershot, and I came second there. So 2 2s.
That weekend was good.
It's going to be good to go back there.
For sure.
Right. So, on to
Philadelphia.
Flipadelphia.
What?
It's from a TV show. Okay. Is that going to work? Oh my god. First try. As if. Let's move this over here, I guess. Okay, so Limitless currently only has the top 8 lists. So should we look at the list first, or should we look at the overall schematics first, Jack? Let's look at the overall.
I agree.
If my Facebook loads. I loaded.
Yes.
Embarrassing. Okay, let's try and get comments on here as well. That would be nectar, wouldn't it? Here we go. So, as always, CCG, the place to be. Well, that's not changed anything, has it? Oh, God. Okay. Oh, yeah, I did Beetle Luke that day. The very first time I played an older shot, I Beetled Luke in top 8. So it's all gonna be swings and roundabouts. There you go. Right, so there was 78 players going into day 2 based on the new ruling. And top 64 got points and all that jazz, so it is a real awful situation. I think that's the first thing I want to address. It is a rough situation to be going into day 2, playing more rounds, not being able to play in the cup, and still get nothing to show for it other than the experience of being in a day 2 situation. I think it really is something they need to try and sort out. I think they were trying to solve issues by doing... this was meant to be a resolution to a problem that we've previously had, where people get the same match record and they don't progress to day 2 based on resistance that they can't really control a lot of the time, etc. But the top 78 really is not a good system, I don't think. I think they've got to try and rethink it. Obviously, we shouldn't expect that they have to fork out more prize money or whatever based on something they can't really control either or predict. So I don't know where the medium is to try and make it fair for people, but it is a real crummy scenario. I imagine there'll be some posts about it, or have already been posts about it.
Oh, there have been. It's something I want to talk to you about after we've looked at results.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been reading a lot of posts today.
Yeah, I haven't been looking at solutions or anything. I imagine some smart people are out there.
Well, that's why I want to ask. If you haven't, that's why I want to ask you, because I want to know what your initial thoughts are.
God.
And then give you some...
I think I'd have to read stuff. But anyway. Here are the breakdown of 76 of the 78 decks. 3%, so 2 decks, right?
Yes.
Are unknown right now. But we've already got a pretty diverse pool of decks here. Buzzgarb Shrine is the most successful deck in day 2. Or
yes.
The most successful deck that made it into day 2. Mm-hmm. Followed by Zorarok very closely. This is consistent with previous results and Vika Ray. A lot of the Vika Rays have adapted to playing Delmise now, the grass Delmise. Delmise is an abilityless non-GX that hits 130, and that's all you need to know about it, really. That's exactly why it's in there.
Interestingly,
Lycanrocs as well.
I was going to say, interestingly, I think only 3 of the 8 Vika Rays played it.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So I think in general it was either 3 or 4, so it was either 50-50 or less. The other thing to note is I think it was 3 of the Buzzgarbs played the 1/1 Weavile.
Yeah.
So Buzz Weavile is a separate thing, is its own little section. But Buzzgarb that had a 1/1 Weavile is still considered Buzzgarb.
Similar to the Worlds list where they played the 1/1 Bonnet and just called it Buzzgarb. Yeah. It's now the 1/1 Weavile for its own purposes. Evening, Jamie. How's it going? And the Zorarocks, a small percentage of those, 13%, were also playing a Great Ball Engine as well. So
yeah, there was only 2, but
yeah,
I think the 2 players that played it both made it.
Yeah,
who were Jimmy and Joey. Mm-hmm. 2 very good players, but also 2 very good cards.
Yeah, team decision. Okay.
Yeah.
And what percentage of Buzzrock is that? It's in a weird colour, and I'm colourblind.
Oh, crumbs.
10? Or is it a fellow 11%?
Yeah, it would be a 10 or 11 because the same as Vika Ray. So
it looks a bit smaller. Maybe it's a 10. I'm so blind. I'm the worst person to ask this question. But Jack, you made this, didn't you?
I did make this.
How do you not know? Why do you use this colour? There's not enough colours in the world.
I don't have a choice in the
Too many,
colours that
too many
they give
decks
me.
that spout out of this.
There are.
Embarrassing.
It's 10%.
Okay. So Buzz Rock still doing good. Kind of underrated, I think, right now for what it is. Like, it's still a top tier contender, I think. One thing that I saw from the Zygarde Lycanroc that I played at the Cup that I think could be employed into this deck as well, even with Beast Ring acceleration. I think 1 or 2 EXP share is not a bad thing at all in Buzz Rock. It makes so many matchups ridiculous, and it's the pseudo replacement for Elixir that allows Lycanroc to sort of creep back in as a relevant card. I know some of them have been playing DCE. This is kind of like the reverse of that, where you're trying to just get the GX attack always live, you know, rather than just have Claw Slash live straight away.
GX does so much damage, you don't necessarily need choice bands, so I like just throwing an EXP share on a Rockruff early.
Yeah, very cool addition that I think that could go into this deck. Psychic Squids, obviously Rukan made it to second place. He's one of these Mali players. And right beside it, the non-GX sort of Shrine Malamar with like Coco, Deoxys, Shining Lugia, these sorts of techs. A number of Metagross as well, which is very... Magnezone as well, which is good to see. People taking 2 turns. I've seen a few cut results for this deck as well, so there's something behind this Stage 2 deck. Not quite as consistent, I would say, as Vicaray. I think that is reflected in the results, but still potent.
But way more fun.
And you get to take 2 turns at times, so that's good.
Oh, we have one of the Magnezone players in the chat. 63rd. Well done.
Hey, snuck in there. Good lad.
Rats.
Okay, 2% Buzz Weavile as well. So there's the full-on Buzz Garbs and a sneaking in of a couple of just Buzz Weaviles without the Garb at all. Obviously, one of the hardest matchups for the Buzz Weavile is Buzz Garb, so that is an awkward thing. But
I feel like
everything else,
Buzz Weavile really appreciated being under the radar last weekend. That's why it made it all the way to top 8. I think as soon as people realised Buzzgarb beat Buzz Weavile, a lot of people went off of it.
Yeah, I agree. Ultra Neck Mali, the least successful of the Malamar builds. For whoever was in chat asking about Mali earlier, you have a little indicator of the success of them right now. Metagross claimed 3% and ended up going far in the tournament, top 8. Ho-Kiawe as well, a couple of those.
There was 2 different builds of Ho-Kiawe, which are interesting. There was a Photon one, and there was one with Shining Lugias, I believe. Which is spice. I think it was Ho-Salazzle with Shining Lugia.
Of course. Just Kiawe to that bad boy.
I mean, what does a Buzzwole do to it?
What does Buzzgarb do to that? Good question.
Extends its hand.
Yeah. Okay. 2 Zoropods. So, really, not a lot of Zoroark is another big tail of this. We see the Zororox, 2 Zoropods, and this little Banette here. Is that a Zorobanette? I guess it is, right?
Yeah, it's a Zorobanette. In that other section, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Zoro decks out of, I think, 15. I think that's like 15 decks to make up that chunk. And 5 of them are Zoro decks. They're all one-ofs. It was
like a Zorogarb, a Zoro Banette.
A Weavile, a Banette, a Garb, a Guardy, and what was described as a Zoro toolbox because it just ran Zoro as a consistency engine, I believe. And then just attackers, I think.
Okay, interesting. So I think if you tot it all up, there's still a good amount of Zoroark.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zoroark is still being played, but I think, to me, which is again something I'll talk to you about, or I'll ask about momentarily, but I think we can see Zoroark is the leading Zoro variant right now.
Well, yeah, that's undisputable, really.
But yeah, I think Zoro is still being respected.
Yeah.
And there's still people trying old favourites out with Zoro Garb, Zoro Weavile. Interestingly, Zoro Banette, there was only one, but it made it all the way to top 4.
Yeah.
Though Xander did post today that he would not play the deck again because Zoroark is insanely hard as a matchup.
Yeah.
So whether he got lucky or what it was, I don't know. But I think it's interesting showing that Zoro can still do it. But I think if you want a more consistent day 2, it looks like Rock is the variant to pick.
Vika Bulu as well, the other Vikavolt variant. This one's much better at tackling Weavile Shenans.
I believe there was also someone playing Shining Lugias in their Vikabulu as well.
Yeah, I saw that list. That's pretty interesting. So, not even Delmai is just going full Shining Lugia on him. That is style points right there.
Yeah.
Can you? I guess you have more information on these sort of other builds. Then I saw the one Sylveon was on stream.
So there was in that total thing. There's the 5 Zoro variants. There was Coco Garb, which is like spread garb, I guess. There was a Gardevoir Swampert, which me, Joe, and Tamal talked about last night. There was an Empoleon Swampert, and there was a lone Empoleon. There was a Passimian, a Beast Box, and there was also a Buzzwole spread deck, which was Buzzwole and Tapu Koko.
So basically, we really need to see these 78 lists because there's I have a lot of questions on a personal level for a lot of these lists.
Yeah.
Empoleon Swampert is one that really surprises me. I've seen it doing well at Cups, and it's 2-stage 2s, and I'm confused. But
it was doing well at Cups. Someone posted an article. It might have even been Caleb that posted an article, actually. Let me double check. I think Thursday or Wednesday about the deck.
Yeah, he did.
So I think there was maybe some... That could have maybe been a couple of people picking up the deck just before the tournament after reading the article. Before we look at top 8 lists, I have a couple of questions. One, is Tier 1 defined now as Buzzgarb, Zoro Rock, and Vika Ray? Because I think this is the second tournament where these 3 have been the largest 3 decks and the most successful decks.
I would imagine they were easily the 3 most played decks based on the last tournament anyway.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that in Frankfurt, you still have to prepare for these as if they're going to be the 3 most popular decks.
Yes.
So in that regard, yes, but I don't think they're there just on power level per se.
Okay, makes sense.
I think.
Carry
on. I was just going to say, like, as you're seeing, the Magnezone player in chat saying he was playing Shining Lugia, Vika Rays and Vika Bulus are playing Shining Lugia or Delmais. There's a lot of reaction to Buzzgarb right now, and Buzzweavile sort of as well. There's a lot of things still reacting. Like the Buzzgarb deck's been reacted. It reacted to Worlds, then it reacted immediately after Worlds, and now it's sort of reacted again with its text. So the Baby Buzz plus Shrine gets the job done a lot. It just depends what stage 1 you want to pair it with a lot of the time. Zoroark, I think it's such a volatile meta for Zoroark. I'm surprised it does so well, but it's just so inherently good to have a O-hit KO option that also gusts the right target every turn. Like, that's all Zoro does. It just targets the most important thing on the board every single turn. That's the whole point of playing the deck. And having some O-hit KO in there is nice. And Lycanroc is good at dealing with Buzzwoles and Garbs if you get it powered up quite early without using too many items. So I can see how it beats the 2 other contenders right now. And it does still smash a lot of other Zoro builds as well, so there is that sort of thing going for it. So maybe on reflection it is probably good. I would still think of putting things like Weakness Policy, and like in the Cup, I was hard carried by Weakness Policy and Acerolas, and Zoroark plays those in minimal counts because it's the least spacious Zoro Stage 1 deck, I would say. But I guess they just try and attack with the Lycanroc more and don't need Weakness Policy and just hope there aren't Guzmas and stuff. I don't know. It's a super weird... Because I've played so little Zoroark, I don't know. Like, I played it that one night before the Cup, and I was just not happy with it. So I don't know.
Before, like, pre this format, I played Zoroark probably more than any Zoro variant, and it just fundamentally feels so much worse now. Which every Zoro deck does, but I think I don't know what it is about Zoroark. Maybe it's the loss of things like strong energy as well, like that you don't feel in other Zoro variants. But it does feel like it's lost a lot more, or is nowhere near as strong as it was, which is interesting. Second question. We've got a big old other chunk there.
Yeah.
do you think the big old other chunk is down to it being a top 78 or the meta being unrefined and everything is not as good, so anything can do well?
I mean, it's got to be a bit of both, right?
Yeah,
Like a lot of
I think fundamentally a bit of both.
a lot of decks can get in at 6-2-1 just by having a good day of matchups. A lot of people can get in just having their own spice that they know and love. Some people are just going to play a deck that they want to play no matter what. And yeah, some of it is a bit of undiscovered talent in there. And that's why I want to start seeing some lists and see why these decks are performing. Like, I see Empoleon Swampert and I see two stage twos. Even though one can discard and draw three, it feels super raw. Like, your opening first two turns have to not be bad in every game, I think. Maybe it's just the amount of hit points that Buzzgarb can't do anything against it. Maybe that's just a freebie. Maybe there's things I'm overlooking, but it feels like it should just get trounced by a lot of decks, and it just isn't being. Or maybe it was one guy who just had a good run and faced a bunch of good matchups. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, these it is worth saying these two stage twos are big, beefy stage twos. I think Swampert has 160, and Empoleon has
Yeah.
140, maybe.
Yeah, 140.
So if you do get set up, I think it is.
But it's so
you
much
are
to
in a pretty
ask
good
for.
board space. But
I
know
don't
what you're
even
saying.
I don't even know
It
the
is-
split of the Swampert and the Empoleon. I don't know
Yeah.
what it looks like. Is it
It'll be
4
interesting to
1
see.
4 Swampert, like 2-1-2 Empoleon? Is it like Metagross with Solgaleo, or is it like heavy Empoleon just Swamperts for draw? I don't know where it lies,
I think
because
from
Empoleon's the
what I've
better attacker,
seen,
obviously. But
yeah, I think from what I've seen, it's an Empoleon deck with like a maybe 2-1-2, 3-1-2 kind of Swampert line as a draw
Swampert
engine.
yeah.
I know what you're saying, and I think that's a pretty fair answer. I think the correct answer is it always was going to be a bit of both, but I wanted to see whether you thought more one way or another. The final question, which is not really list wise, but I just want to quickly touch on it before we look at top 8, is the top 78 and the fact that 61 makes it now. Off the top of your head, can you think? I can list a couple of solutions that people have said afterwards, but do you have any solution other than what do you think is a potential solution if you can think of any?
Or some point differentiation between top 1-8 and someone just making day 2 would be one thing.
Yeah.
Not as many as 64, but not as few as 1-8. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean the difference is it's 30 and 40, so you could say 35 for anyone
Yeah.
that makes day 2 but doesn't make top 64.
Yeah, that's easy
That's at least a
enough.
start. I think
Yeah,
one of the biggest posts Peter Kika was I think he posted pretty soon after the event saying that he was outright refusing to ID with anyone on a 6-2 record because
yeah,
you should it feels like it's more earned if you get 7-2, and if you get 6-2-1 by IDing, there's an argument that you don't deserve to be there, but you deserve to be there less than some of the other people. Like the whole idea, the whole theory behind it was yes, like you say, it negates the big issue with IDs, and ties and people losing like bubbles and that kind of thing. And if you like, there was a really good post by Carlos Pereira, the guy that runs Arcanine Labs, that was basically saying you just have to look at tournaments differently now. Before, you had the 9 rounds, and then everyone below 32 was dropped from the tournament because they theoretically didn't have as good of a chance top
yeah,
8ing. Now you have to look at it that everyone that cannot top 8 now is dropped from the tournaments, because you can still top 8 with a 19-point record, as we saw this weekend.
yeah,
You can with like some other super whack records if you go like 6-0 day 2, but in general, they like the way you look at it now is you drop anyone that theoretically cannot make day 2, cannot make top 8, which in this case is 19 points and above, can all still technically make top 8, which we saw this weekend.
Yeah.
The issue with putting it at 6-1-2 instead is because that record wouldn't account for a dead draw and an auto loss, which I think is what they kind of what they didn't want to deal with. Like a 6-2-1 record deals with 1 dead draw, 1 auto loss, and then 1 ID to a slow, like natural ties, slow play, that kind of thing. Slower players, not slow play, slower players, that kind of thing. And then you still have to get your 6 wins, which is why a lot of people feel they can't push it to 6-1-2 because if you hit 2 auto losses, you're out of the tournament. Unless you go 7-0, but then you can't. Then you have to deal with slower players and that kind of thing. So there's never going to be a correct solution.
I mean, if TPCI are going to stick to this change, even though there will be a backlash, like no matter what, I think as a personal player, it's such a minefield. Like you ID if you think you can. Like, you don't ID if you think you can actually make top 8. Like, if you have a good matchup spread around you. But at Philly, like, look at this 78 decks. There's such a plethora of decks. You can't make an informed decision, like, of what's around you that you could have a good or bad day 2. It's still such a lottery. It's like being in a day 1 field with the amount of diversity of decks. So you can't really expect that. So you don't know. So you'd still ID, I think, just because you want to get in and just see if you have a lucky day 2.
Yeah, I mean,
matchup-wise.
I fundamentally I would ID 100% because.
But I can see I can see it being a lot more difficult to offer the it's difficult now to offer the ID and then they say yes back to you. Like, you shouldn't expect to get to 6-2 and be like, sick, we're IDing, we've all made it, high fives. There's gonna be people who are like, nah, I want to guarantee top 32 and get that cash money and stuff like that. I want an extra win under my belt. So it's going to be a big player-based decision now, a lot more.
That's what the post said. It was like before top 32, like you could ID securing cash. Mm-hmm. Now you can't ID securing cash. Sometimes you actually ID into, it turns out, 30 points. You ID into 30 points, which is super sucky. But it's just... And I'm just speaking what people are saying. I don't want people to think it's my opinion, but you just have to look at the tournament a different way now. Mm-hmm. Before you ID'd into cash, now you ID. You're IDing to give yourself a chance of top 8ing, and
at the same time, you're IDing, guaranteeing that you lose 2 points. That takes you further away from top 8.
Yeah,
that's what's super weird.
So it's such a weird system. I don't think we'll keep this system after this year. I already don't think we'll keep the system after this year without changes, I should say.
It's super weird.
But yeah, it's been really interesting listening to what a lot of people think of this system. It's going to affect us less because over here in Europe, it's probably still going to take us under 64 players, which means it won't. Yes, it will be a big deal for half a box and $250, sure, but it won't be as big a deal for literally no packs. It's just 30 points. You're not playing for 6 rounds to get 30 points, where actually you probably should have played the cup because there's 78 of the best players in the room aren't going to be playing the cup.
That's huge.
So it's probably not going to affect us as much, but it is still definitely worth thinking about. I was talking to Tamau, and he went 6-1 in Sheffield, and he was 48th, and he wasn't anywhere near the bottom. Yeah. So I think we probably will be seeing top 64 cuts in Europe now as well. Mm-hmm. So it will affect us in Europe. I don't think it will affect us as hard as a top 78. Top 78 is just crazy.
It's not going to happen.
But the other thing that's worth thinking about is the fact that this event was 803 Masters last year. There were tournaments that made it all the way to over 1,000 Masters. Regionals tournaments that made it all the way to over 1,000 Masters. We could see like top 128 cuts by the end of this year if the game keeps growing.
Yeah, they're going to have to address it pretty rapidly, like almost as quickly as telling us how many points we need this year.
The thing to wonder is now Memphis have announced that they're going to provide the prizes. If people start jumping on that bandwagon, there's no reason for TPCI to announce it because they don't. I don't know. Maybe they're not bothered about the point differentiation. And if companies are just going to offer the packs, they're obviously going to want to save money. So if companies still do what Memphis are doing and start saying, well, we'll give packs for anyone below top 64 because you've made day 2, I could actually see TPCI not changing anything until next year, which is super sucky.
I don't see that.
I hope it's not the case.
I mean, they made this change based on backlash from last season. And it's gonna like it's just not the correct solution in practice. Like we got what we wanted and it was wrong, right? But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need we need to address a best solution now, which I'm sure they will work hard on, like straight away.
Yeah, I hope so. I think they will. I think there's been enough, not just backlash. I think there's also been enough, just healthy discussion in general. Because
Solution, yeah.
for everyone that doesn't like it, there are people that made their first day two this weekend and are like, okay, sure, I didn't get money and maybe I didn't even get packs, but I made my first day two, which is maybe less of an accomplishment now to some people, but at the same time, to some people, it still is an accomplishment. I'd still ID for a day two because a day two is better than a day one, like end of. So
Well, is
I
it
think
though?
well,
It's
not
not
really,
though. It's literally not anymore.
but yeah, I think there's
Sometimes.
still been yeah. That's another. Mad Captain's just said some people have said just having the same record as top 32, or was 32nd place. Sorry.
Yeah.
So if that is 19, sure, we still end up with a situation which it would have been in this scenario. I believe 32nd did have 19 match points. But it could mean that 6-1-2 is the new record to go for rather than 6-2-1, which is a little bit less forgiving, but at the same time maybe is what should be expected of a player that wants to proceed to day two.
Right. With all that said, let's look at the top 8 lists on good old Limitless TCG. So
Tougher
far,
goal.
only 8 lists, but that's pretty much the cut now, right? So let's have a look at the winning list from Caleb. I have a cat in the way, so I actually can't see what's going on here, but I'll look at my other screen. Max has it going. And Jamie, yeah, we addressed the fact that they're not giving out cash, but the venues are thinking of or hoping to give out packs. But yeah, it shouldn't be their job to. So yeah, this is Caleb's list. He played 17 Pokemon, 4 Baby Buzz, 3-2 Garb, 2-2 Mad Cargo, to really help the deck get the things that it needs. It allows him to play some pretty kooky one-off cards in the list, which is something we'll talk about. 1-1 Weavile, kind of to help out once again against some Zoro decks, trying to help out against Vika Rays, trying to help out against lots of ability-based focused decks like Metagross that's popped up, all sorts of things. Weavile's just, it's pretty much like the Garbatoxin that we have now. It's just a different way of dealing with abilities going wild. It is such an efficient attacker in this meta where people can't parallel away their stuff no more. So Lele's a free 50 for the whole game, and it can just grow from there if they are an ability-based deck. And again, if you're threatening multiple Garbs and a Sneasel, you don't know where to target really, because as the game goes on, you know that Garb's going to get big, but you have to also not fall into the trap of Weavile. So it's just more pitfalls for the opponent ultimately. Plays the Diancie and also plays 1 Instruct Guru. What a god. Onto supporters, 4 Lily, 4 Guz, 2 Cynthia. Pretty low on the Cynthia count. Really interesting that he's choosing to play a higher Lily count than Cynthia. 2 Kukui, 1 Judge, 4 Ultra, 4 Nest, 3 Acro. Combos nicely with the Mad Cargo. 2 Stretchers to try and recover, especially the Weavile line and the Garb line. 1 physical copy of Switch, 1 Field Blower, 3 Choice, 3 Shrine. We've seen these in much higher counts previously, so it's interesting that he's just making the 3 of choices. I think fitting in the 2-2 Mad Cargo is part of the reason for that. And 9 Energy, again, in a really interesting split, and less than we've previously seen. We've seen like 12 Energy before in this list. Now it's 4 Rainbow, 2 Fighting, 1 Beast, 1 Unit, which can be the Fighting or the Dark for the Weavile. Very not relevant. And 1 Counter Energy as well. Counter Energy can go on to Baby Buzzwells to allow for Swing Around. It can go on to Garbodors as well to allow Acid Spray. It can even let you use Psychic. And even Diancie Prism Stars let in with Diamond Rain. Absolutely incredible. I think
Broken.
even Macargo could attack. Oh, is this the answer against Metagross? Definitely not. But yeah, lots of one-off things that you fish out at the right times with Macargo. but I imagine like it's really hard to play around counter energy if you don't expect it. So I think it's a surprise factor card, counter energy, a lot of the time. What do you think about the list overall? I think there's definitely some interesting things like the counter energy, higher Lily than Cynthia, no Tate and Liza, which has been in here before. Some really interesting decisions overall.
Yeah. I like 2 Cynthia is so weird, but with the 2/2 Garb, with the 2/2 Magcargo, sorry, Lily, even just drawing one,
Yeah.
can still be good enough. So I don't mind it. I've had a couple of games of the list, and the fact you just can Lily for 2, but know you're going to get what you want is fine sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there about the list?
Lower choice band and shrine. Is he expecting like mirror matches? I guess with these sort of cuts.
Yeah, completely. I think the 3 choice band 3 shrine is just saying I'm taking out 2 dead cards in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's an easy mindset for me. The energy count is so weird. The counter energy also helps in like it helps stop mirrors going super aggressive on you, which is cool. Because you can just like respond with a counter energy on a Buzzwold and like swing around on a non-blow up turn, which is cool for like if they're going super aggro Garb, you can be like, oh, if you've already got a Buzzwold with an energy on it, you can be like counter energy. I'll swing around for I need to flip 1 heads, which is cool. I don't think I've played the like this exact list for now, so I haven't made any changes. I don't think I would play the counter on Reflection, but it is cute. Cards I'd like. I don't think you need the Tate and Liza with a switch. I think 4th Acrobike just for more draw is always going to be good. This deck still feels super clunky with the lack of supporters we have in this format. The old list played for Cynthia 3N, 3 Sycamore, which are just fundamentally better supporter cards than we have right now. So I think I want more. Just even if it's discarding 2 potentially good cards, I just want to make my deck thinner.
What do you think about 4 Buzzwole, even though it plays 2 Stretcher? I feel like that's kind of a space for maybe like a second Sneasel or something like that. I don't know. I'm loving Weavile right now. I just love the pressure. Like this just puts pressure out of everywhere at the moment. I'd like to have less prizing issues. Maybe a Gladian even.
That idea. But the thing about adding the Slugmas and adding the Sneasels is you start Buzzwole so much less.
Yeah.
And you want to start Buzzwole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
fair.
I can kind of see him just putting a 4th in just to try and start it.
Yeah, it is good.
A bit more. I think if you like cutting down a Buzzwole for a Sneasel could actually be like a doubly bad play starter wise because you've decreased your starters by 1 and increased the bad starter by 1 in some matchups. But in general, like the 1/1 Sneasel Weavile does feel super weird. But I guess if they're KOing your Sneasel, they're not KOing a Buzzwole or a Garbodor, and if they're not doing that, then you've still got 2 good cards on the field. From what I saw from interviews and gameplay, the priority in this deck is actually killing the Magcargo. So the Sneasel lives a lot of the time, I think.
Right.
If the Magcargo's dead, maybe you don't get your Weavile, but maybe you do. And when you do, you're in a pretty good spot. But I think one of his subtleties to his interview yesterday was him saying how his opponents just weren't respecting Magcargo and it was just carrying him.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I think for your testing, dealing with the Magcargo early seems to be a pretty good line of play in a lot of matchups.
Just because it's going to be playing all these one-offs.
I mean,
stop this madman.
I played the deck without the Magcargo like before the Brazilian event, and the deck is so bad without Magcargo. Right. It's just so clunky, even with 4 Cynthia, and I don't think I was playing a super high acrobat count, but even so. So yeah, it seems like targeting the Magcargo might be the answer, but at the same time, if you're targeting the Magcargo, you're also not targeting things like Buzzwoles, which are then sledgehammering, and Garbodors, which are then trash launching. So it's not always going to be correct. Sometimes it's actually probably wrong, just because in the end you just die to 2 very, very good attacks.
And going forward,
yes.
Uh, do we need to see any other changes? Like, we've seen a lot of people are putting in these non-GX things that are difficult to deal with. Is it a
They're
case
diffi-
of maybe the Weavile becomes something new now, or maybe like the Garb becomes something new now? Is it just like Buzzwole seems to be the hard carry, right? He's just being paired with a bunch of stuff, and maybe
Yeah,
it's like now we need some new quote unquote stuff to beat or to not lose to this other non-GX
it's
stuff that hits
it's weird.
130 basically. You need to hit like
This
130 with a different attacker now, right?
Yeah, it's like you said earlier on. This feels like Buzzwole Shrine with X.
Yeah.
Um, at the moment, it's Garb, and I think honestly, it probably will stick to Garb because Garb is still really, really good in this meta. But I think the Sneasel Weavile definitely could be floating slots in different metas.
Hmm.
That being said, I have no idea what the answer is. I can't lie and say that I do. I think I'd still consider the Weavile just because it's a really, really good card. Um, I think there are more people countering it, like you say, but at the same time, it was like a discussion we were having today. They're countering it with non-EX attackers, which sure can be quite difficult to deal with. But if you can deal with them, they still probably have to bench their EXs and GXs. Sorry. So yes, it's going to make your day maybe a little bit harder having to deal with these Delmisers and these Shining Lugias and stuff. I think Shining Lugia is actually a really, really rare example where you probably just lose. But Delmise doesn't seem like the guaranteed answer because they probably still have to play Lele's and Rays and things like that. And it means, yes, maybe you don't quite get the super aggressive turns that you used to and you win super quickly, but I think you still can ramp up in the late game now and still take 2 prize knockouts with things like Weavile and Garb. I still think even with Delmise, Vika Ray is winnable and probably with Delmise, probably no lower than a 40% because they still have to bench 2 prize Pokemon sometimes.
Okay, interesting. Let's look at Rukan's list. Pretty psyched that
Mhm.
he was able to get second. Me and Jack were just saying, like, at the start of the stream, or maybe off stream, that he's like a really deserving player to have a good breakout tournament because he tests a lot. He creates content as
Puts in the
well,
time.
puts in the time, and he's a relatively newer player as well. So it's like the full package. You want to see someone really grinding who is new start doing well, and it's
Rewarded.
such a shame that his final has sort of been stained by some errors and stuff like that. But
Sleepiness.
um, it's still a real good feat to get a second at a big regional like that. So he was playing Psychic Squids. A lot of people saying at the start of the meta this would be a potent deck, and he's been playing it for a long time. I remember him posting a similar list to this on Poker Beach like a month ago, and
Yeah.
he's just stuck true to it. He's
He
playing.
said
Oh, go on.
he said today he posted pretty much the exact 60 about a month ago, and no one took him seriously.
Yeah,
Well, turns out it's a pretty good deck.
yeah. So he's playing the 2 regular Psychic Necrozma, 2 Marshadow GX, obviously helping Zoroark matchups. Just the 1 copy of Dawn Wings, but he is playing 4 escape boards, so he is consciously aware of the issue of Dawn Wings against Zoroark as well.
Yeah,
2 copies of Deoxys, obviously going to be very annoying for Shrine variants. Power Blast munching through the Baby Buzzes and the Garbs and such, so it has the option to be a non-GX build in those matchups, and also has the option to go big 1-hit KO swinging against like the Vika Rays and the Zoroarks, so it's a nice split here. Deoxys is such a pain. The 1 copy of Mimikyu as well allows you to filch in a bad spot and also can copy some big attacks. 1 copy of Lele and 1 copy of Let Loose Marshadow as well. Obviously very good for countering Vika Ray's Tempest turn or even their turn 1 Lily. A lot of the time that can really set the pace of the game completely in your favour again. If they hit the Vika Vault and if they miss the Vika Vault, it's 2 entirely different games basically. So trying to stifle that is going to be very nice, and just stifling any setup in general is going to be good if you find yourself with some bench space. 4 Cynthia, 4 Lily, 4 Guzma. Very, very simple, saying there's only a couple good supporters in the format, let's just max out those counts pretty much.
yeah,
I really like Lily's the best in Malamar, I think, because it has the most natural discard and insta play cards that it just makes a lot of sense. Lily's always drawing like 4 at least. And like turn 1, it's drawing like 6 most of the time or more. So it makes a lot of sense in a high count in squids. 4 treasure, 4 ultra, 4 acro, 2 friend ball, which does allow him to get fighting Pokemon and psychic Pokemon. And, you know, Buzzgarb is very popular. Lele is very popular. So...
Yeah. I mean, it searches his whole deck, right? For anyone, any Buzzguard player, he has free searches. Anyone that plays a Lele, he has free searches for everything but Marshadow, and he has Ultra Balls for those. I think it's pretty cool. I think it makes a lot of sense in a format with Lele and with Buzzwole.
It's pretty crazy that we've got... He's already playing 4 Ultra, 4 Treasure, and he thought of playing more Search. That's what's... Like, not just the fact that it's Friend Ball, the fact that he was like, 8 isn't enough, I need more of this stuff. I need more. Just give me it.
I mean, that's Marshadow. That's Malamar, though, right? It's a deck that plays entirely on the board.
Yeah.
So if you set up a board, you win. So let's just set up a board.
Pretty cheeky. Complementing that with Double Stretcher. Again, he has lots of discard cards with the 8 balls and the 4 bikes.
Yeah.
Treasure can make those discards less painful, and it can get you back the most important attackers in the right matchups, etc., etc. 4 escape boards is the Rukan Spice. It allows you to protect your Inkays, retreat out of those early. It gives you basically any attacker that you lead. If it's not Necrozma GX or Dawnwings, you can get out of there, which is really good for you. I think Deoxys is 1 retreat, right? Yeah. So you can... You're much more likely to get a turn 2 attacker going, right? Because you can attach to the bench, and then turn 2, you only need to have 1 Malamar attachment in addition to a turn attachment. If you can escape board, you're active. So as long as it's not Necrozma GX or Dawnwings, you can escape board whatever it is, and then go into your attacker turn 2. So it's helping you protect your Inkays, and it's also getting you more likely to get turn 2 attacks off. Again, if it's not, unfortunately, 3 of these basics that you could hit. So 4 whole copies, pretty wild. Especially with no blower in the format, but it's a statement that he wants to find these early. And again, they're insta-play cards, so there's no real punishment for playing a full 4 count, because even the Garb decks aren't playing 2 blower at the moment. They're just going to play 1 blower, and you can still establish a skateboard for later on in the game anyway. So pretty cool that he's found this out, whereas a lot of people were moving towards Stadium. He's actually playing no replacement of Stadium at all.
That's what I was gonna say. The first thing I noticed about his list is not only is he not playing Ultra of the Moon in favor of Escape Board, but he actually has no Shrine counter at all.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you can go pretty non-EX in that matchup anyway, but even starting an EX or GX, I feel can be crippling, because it's just taking a counter every single turn.
Yeah.
And you, like, as soon as that one is down, it's done. That GX will be dying that game.
Mm-hmm.
Which is super interesting to me.
I guess it's just, even though he could just annoyingly lead a GX and it will get ticked into range, 2 of his 5, 6 GX Pokemon. Wait, let me start again. 4 of his 6 GX Pokemon are weak to Psychic anyway, so the fact that they're getting Shrine damaged doesn't matter. It's just that it'll be 2 free prizes anyway, right?
Yeah.
And he's hoping that the Deoxys are getting 2 and 3 shot, which they will be for like the first 2 or 3 turns, definitely. So he's hoping to sort of make up that ground with aggro Deoxys. And even you can attack with Malamar in that matchup against Garbs. Like, you can do whatever you want, really. So if you Grinch the Garbodors after the Sledgehammer turn, like, that's all you got to do, right?
Yeah, it's just about ordering stuff right. But I just thought it was pretty interesting that not only was he'd gone for a skateboard Spice, but he also had just said, okay, I do not care about Shrine. Yeah. Let them play their Shrine.
Gives them more dead cards, which is good.
It gives them more dead cards, and it means that you have more space.
Yeah.
Which is another good thing. Mind you then put 4 skateboards in, so maybe not. But,
Yeah, but no Stadium at all. Pretty interesting. And then just the 10 Psychic, which I don't think is as much of a talking point. But yeah, Psychic Squids in this rendition, Jack. Are we going to see more of this now? Do we think this is Is this like the most balanced deck to play right now? Is it the most like I don't care what I face. I can beat Vikaray. Like, I have the outs for Vikaray. I have the outs for most Zoroark decks. I have the outs for the Shrine decks. Is that kind of what Psychic Malamar is at the moment?
Yeah, this is my favorite list of the top 8 that we've seen. We've still got one to see, but in general, this is my favorite list that I've seen. It feels like the 50-50 deck right now, which is always a good thing to be in a format where the meta's kind of unrefined. I think you have good matchup. You have answers, not necessarily good matchups, but you have answers for everything. I haven't played around with it as much as Ultra Melee. Ultra Melee feels a bit more like much better against the Zoro, but much worse against the Shrine stuff. So again, it's a bit of a meta call, but I think this list is a really, really strong list. I think it's also worth noting that it's a very good list for one, getting into the game, and two, picking up something if you're not particularly confident. I think the 4-off counts are all really, really strong. All of the one-offs make sense. There's nothing crazy in here. I think this is just a super, super clean list. I really like it. And I'm glad he did well with it because, like we said at the start, he puts in the time. He knows the deck inside out. He deserves to do well with it, I think.
Nice. Okay. Let's look at Xander's Zoro Bennett list. He did very well day one. I think he went 801.
Yeah, he did.
He's playing 4-4 Zoro, 2-2 Bennett, 1-1 Garbodor. So a lot of people right now are sticking in a 1-1 of just like a good non-GX attacker, it feels like. That's like the vibe going around right now. For your needs, sticking a 1-1 of a good OHKO non-GX. Also playing the Baby Buzz. 1 Coco, nice little pivoting options, and Flying Flip sets up math, especially with Bennett. 1 Fairy Lele, I'm going to assume, as this ticks around. And 2 Lele GX. We'll never get there, but it's probably a Fairy Lele, right?
It is a fairy.
3 Cynthia, 3 Goose, 2 Lily, 2 Acerola, 1 Judge, 1 Kukui, 1 Mallow, 1 Apricorn, 1 Lusamine. Lusamine can help him contest Stadium War, even though he's playing 3 Devoured Field, but it also acts similarly to a Palpad, where you can grab more Acerolas and whatever else you need. Interestingly, he's not playing Palpad physically, he's just playing Lusamine instead, so super concerned about that Stadium War, even though he's playing Bennett, which is surprising. 4 Ultra 4 Nest. Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, worth noting that he said Lusamine was trash all day and he would never play it again.
Yeah, I would definitely, like, that would be my first criticism. I was like, this should read Palpad in my mind every time.
Yeah, I think you always put a Palpad in before Lusamine. I can see Lusamine and Palpad for decks that really care about Shrine, but I think Palpad is just immediately better.
I mean, this is playing 2-2 Bennett, 3 Stadium and 2 Weakness Policy. I don't think you need the Lusamine to... That's like so win more. So win more, I think. And Palpad helps you way more against all the Zoro decks, which you're playing Zoro Bennett, you need that help, right? Because your Bennetts are just trades. You have the Buzzwole and you have a 1-1 Garb. That's it, really, on your side. So you need to at least have Palpad to keep up with the heals. Anyway, the balls are 4 Ultra 4 Nest, 2 timers. Are we on the timer ball hype train or are we off that train, Jack?
I've never been on that train.
Excellent.
Now, I think any Zoro deck, I will start with Great Ball if there's enough Pokemon in my list. How many Pokemon is he playing? 19?
Yeah.
I think my golden number is 18 or 19 for Great Ball. At least 17 and below. I think Timer Ball, unfortunately, probably is still better. I don't know the numbers for sure, but just rough calculations, I think Timer Ball needs to be played in decks lower than 18, maybe even lower than 20. I think we only got away with it, or I would have only got away with it if I played because I played more than 20 Pokemon this weekend. Similarly with you, similarly with Tamao, similarly with probably Jimmy and Joey. But any reason to not play Timer Ball, I'm involved.
Okay.
Because I hate flipping coins.
Yeah. The 1 stretcher, the 2 choice, the 2 policy, man, I can anecdotally tell you how insane they've been now that Blower is uncommon in decks that aren't playing Garbodor right now. And 3 Devoured Field, good choice for the weekend, I think.
Yeah.
8 total energy, 1 basic psychic and 3 rainbow. I guess that's fine. You have enough trades to get you into the rainbows when you need them for the Buzz and the Lele. interesting on the supporter lines, as we said. Playing 1 Apricorn, 2 Lily. Not playing any fan clubs. So he is doing the whole thing where he thins the nest balls out the deck, or he could use it turn 2 if you've used Lily turn 1 and theoretically help you get Zoroarks. It becomes like an Olympia. No, not Olympia. What is it? Olivia.
Olivia.
Yeah, where you basically have a supporter that reads flip 4 coins for each heads, get Zoroarks and get trading.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. The 1 Mallow, the 1 Judge. I think the supporter line's really similar to what we all played actually this weekend at the Cups.
I like it. I think the Apricorn Maker and the Lucamine are the only 2 question marks. I've personally been preferring Fan Club now. But I can see the argument for either one. The other thing worth noting is Apricorn Maker means you play more balls, which means your guard matchup is a little bit more awkward, but it's just kind of whether you want to go for the thin the deck a bit better and have a bit more of a versatile supporter, but also be worse against Garb, or have a worse supporter, but in general not have to give a Garb a free 40 damage.
Yeah, I mean, I had the debate with Tamao, and I was on the Apricorn side saying, I want to thin these nest balls because I don't want to draw these nest balls because I want to be drawing DCEs mainly was my main card that I need to draw on turn 2. And he was like, well, you still need to draw the nest balls so Writers Meeting does anything. So I ended up actually playing Fan Club.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an ongoing thing where I don't know which one I like the most.
Again, so on reflection after this weekend, would you change? I'm almost certainly, I think I'm going to play Fan Club now. Personally.
I mean, another factor is that I enjoyed drawing into those nest balls to have free trades. Because a lot of the time, my list itself didn't have many free trades. So there's also that element.
That's a really, really big thing in Zoroark right now. Now you don't have puzzles. Trades are so much more premium.
Yeah.
So running 10 balls plus Fan Club means it's so weird to say you have 10 cards which are useless in your deck, because they're not useless in your deck, but you have 10 trades that are
at that point in the game
a lot less painful. Like if you thin your nest balls and stuff early, yes, you're going to be drawing into DCs, Cynthia's, Guzmas more, but you're also probably going to have to start trading them earlier in the game.
Yeah, there were so many matchups where I was like so happy. I was like, yes, it's a Shrine deck. These 2 choice bands, they're trade bait. My happiest game was when I played against Stack Attacker Naganadel. I was ultra spacing baby Buzzwolls out and trading them away, and I stretched back in both baby Buzzwolls, immediately ultra spacing them back out and trading them away again.
Free trade.
It was my favorite thing. It was like the best. It was so good.
Yeah.
So really often good. I was head scratching of what to get rid of. So yeah, I'm a little bit team Fan Club at the mo. A little bit. But I do still see the...
I can see the arguments for both, and I don't think there is a correct answer.
Right.
But personally, I'm Team Lily because I like drawing cards more than... I like drawing cards and rolling the dice, even though I don't like rolling actual dice with Timeable. But, I think Lily is still super good turn 1.
Well, you Lily when you know you can access some Zoruas, right? You're holding Nest Ball started as Zorua, and you have an Ultra Ball, and you Lily.
And
you only ever Fan Club... Yeah, you Fan Club if you have, like, Zoroark, or Zoroark Cynthia, those sorts of combos in your hand. You're just like, get me the Zoruas down, that's all I need. So let's have a look at Aaron playing Stage 2 Shenanigans. He's playing 4 of the Core Beam Beldums, the ones that can retreat for just 1, because he is playing a Alolan Vulpix, so that's definitely worth noting. He's playing 2 Matangs, 4 GX, and 1 of the non-GX Metagross. Excuse me. It has Extend. As long as this Pokemon is your active, your turn does not end when you play Steven's Resolve. Now, I'm not convinced if this is in here. Like, is he using this to Steven's Resolve?
That was 170 HP. Holy pogs.
Because he doesn't play Switch cards outside of Prisma. And its retreat cost is 4. So if you're using it to go active in Steven's that turn, you're just Meteor Mashing. Is he just saying Meteor Mash sets up mats against like Zoroarks and stuff like that? Is that pretty much the statement here? Or what? Like, is he? Or is this just? I'll play this against the shrine stuff. Is that like? I don't know
It's not even.
which it
Is it even
is.
that good against Shrine though? Like he's not playing Delmise, so it's not one-shotting baby buzzers until.
Yeah.
It's actually never one-shotting baby buzzers. You're one-shotting Garb, sure, and Garb's really struggle to deal with 170 HP and resistance on a non-EX. But at the same time, Metagross has 250. So yes, they're taking two prizes. They do knock it out, but you're so much clean. Like it's so much cleaner to knock stuff
Oh,
out.
I'm
with
so
two
dumb.
Metagross GX.
Okay, it's the Solgaleo that allows him to switch. Okay, that makes
Oh,
sense. Wait, yeah.
Oh, he does also play Delmise.
Yeah, he plays Delmise. He plays
Said he played it.
Delmise.
He said he played it for Hoopers. So yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have a Hooper counter right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
It's mainly for Hoopers. I can't argue with him.
to be fair, there's no nice Hooper counter in this deck, so I
Hold
can't.
on. Delmise. Oh, it's
I don't
really
actually know
dark.
what it does.
Embarrassing.
Oh, crumbs.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's a Hooper counter, I can't kill the man.
you beat Hoopers, and I guess you get 3 free cards mid-turn sometimes, which is cool.
I completely forgot about the Solgaleo. That's a big factor there. I looked at that retreat cost. I was like, holy pogs.
That's not 0. I don't understand.
I mean, he only plays 2 Stevens anyway. I imagine a lot of the time Stevens is his turn 1 play going first. That's what I've seen. Like, you do it first, right? Rather than going second. Because people can judge you a lot more going second than first.
I
Like,
agree.
on their turn 2 than on turn 1.
Yeah, but he's still got Lilies.
Yeah, he still has Lilies. But, like, if...
Yeah.
He's not just
okay,
playing...
right.
What I'm trying to say is he's not just playing 2 Stevens so that he can use it when the non-GX is out there.
No.
Cool.
Heatran is probably better. I
Agree.
think I probably prefer Heatran as well. But
So 2-2 Solgaleo, it does offer that switching mechanic, that Ultra Road, which we forgot to mention. But
doesn't exist.
big old boy. Look at that amount up there.
Still my favourite GX card.
Is all you need to look at. And then look at that amount as well. That's another big amount.
This card is cool. I want this card to be better than it is.
It's powerful. It's powerful. My question to you, Jack, is if you're going to play the Solgaleo build,
Yeah.
why play choice bands?
How many did he play? 2.
2 and 2 choice band. Like, okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm saying either you're playing choice bands and then you just play non-GXs that one shot, like 1 or 2 alongside 2 stretcher, and save yourself 2 spaces, or you play the Solgaleo and just say I can blow up everything, cut these choice bands.
Yes. Kind of agree. But the only thing that makes me think not is you prioritize Metagross, and sometimes you are running a 2-stage 2 deck, so you don't get Solgaleo up, so you need a backup plan.
Okay, that's fair.
Is the only answer I have.
Yeah.
You cannot rely on getting 2-stage. You can't just freely rely on it, because there will be sometimes people that judge your algorithm, and there will be some times where you are a stage 2 deck. And you have to prioritize Metagrosses. You just have to. So, yeah. I like what you're thinking, but I think you have to have some kind of backup plan in Choice Band. But you can save yourself, like Metagross at times has played 4, so you can at least save yourself a couple of slots, which can go straight towards the Solgaleo slot. So it makes spining slots less painful, perhaps. You have to hit 3 stage 2s.
Yeah, but that's only because he's playing Solgaleo. He could just be playing the basics, right? This is my argument, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to argue with Solgaleo because it's my favourite GX Pokemon. But I think Duskmane is probably the more sensible option and probably presents less clunk within the deck.
Cool. So yeah, a load of Vulpix, Delmise, couple Lele. Supporter-wise, 4 Cynthia, only 3 Guzmas. Only 3
On space for your Hala.
2 Lily, 2 Stevens, 1 Judge, 1 Hala. I'll just judge myself turn 1. 4 Ultra, 4 Nest, 4 Candy, 4 Max Pot. The 4 of the stuff that he does need, which is good. 2 Stretcher I like, 2 Choice Band I don't hate if he's already playing 1 Hiko stuff. I mean, personally, I'd probably just play like a 3rd Choice Band, cut the Solgaleos, play 1 or 2 basic Ohikyo things of my choice and save some spaces. He's only playing 8 energy, which is really low for a Metagross, I think.
That I haven't looked at many Metagross lists, but I wanted to ask you about that. That
It's
feels super
real
low to me.
Yeah, it's real low. It's normally like I thought 10 was the minimum before this.
Yeah.
So, if nothing else, he may have changed the game in that sense that 8 is enough, and that gives you spaces for stuff. So, I think one of the best things about this list is that he's found that this trimming is not a problem, and therefore, if we make trimming elsewhere, just Metagross could be good.
Yeah.
Supporters are so weird. The supporters are so weird. There's so much weirdness. So much weird going on. I don't know. I feel like there's cuts to be made from here. I love that he's trimmed the fat energy-wise, but I think there's more fat to be trimmed.
I think there's more fat to be trimmed. I also think I'd probably feel more comfortable adding some fat energy-wise.
Yes. Yeah.
8 is super scary still. I want to, I think I've had 3 games with Metagross in my life. It's not a deck I particularly want to play. It's super linear, it feels. It's super predictable, it feels. And sometimes 250 HP is all you need to win, but I wanted to be doing something more interesting with my deck. So I can't vouch for, I can't argue with it too much, but it feels like you've taken an inconsistent deck and you've found some places to cut, which is the energy, but you've put them into a 2/2 Solgaleo, which isn't going to help. If he changed those 2/2 Solgaleos, like you say, to maybe 2 Duskmane, so he saves 2 slots, changes the Hala to a Guzma, adds a choice band, and adds 1 more consistency card.
He needs more supporters.
Sir
Pandage is asking what I don't like about the supporters. He plays 8 turn 1 supporters if you're kind on Stevens, right? If he doesn't already have playable cards that turn, Stevens unusable, right? Because your Beldum just dies and you lose. So I would like to see more Lilies or Tantalizers or whatever it is. Just give me even Sophocles. I don't think is bad in this deck. I feel like he needs more supporters than just 4 Cynthia, 2 Lily, and 2 Stevens, because Stevens isn't always okay. Oh my god, I almost said Stevens isn't always good out loud. Stevens is only usable once you've already got 3 Beldums down, right? In my mind. Otherwise, it's not usable. And Stevens doesn't even synergize with Alolan Vulpix. If you're using Stevens to find 2 of the evolutions that you'll find with Alolan Vulpix anyway. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you go first with Lone Beldum and just go Stevens Resolve and just go, okay, I guess I'm grabbing Beldum, Candy, Metagross, and then just go Candy, Metagross, Bench Beldum, Algorithm for more Beldums. Is that what you're doing?
That was my thought, but if you're algorithming for more Beldums, just so sad. This feels like a deck that you need to play a couple of games to see what kind of turn 1s it has, because I have no idea what the turn 1 with this deck is like.
And the Hala, it scares me, even though it's 1.
The Hala I don't like at all. I'd immediately like another Guzma or Lily over Hala.
Feels like a greedy choice.
You have 2 very good GX attacks that you use very early, I agree, but at the same time, Lily means you get into your GXs, and this is another deck which is super board reliant.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you build a board, you probably win, provided you can pretty much Cynthia, Guzma alternatively, so you always have a max potion every other turn.
Yeah.
Yes, Hala does that. Hala's a better Cynthia, but at the same time, you need to get into the game. And I think once you get into the game with this deck, you probably struggle losing.
I end up with more questions than answers, I think, when I see that list. Let's look at Isaac's Ray Vika Vault. He's playing the 4 Ray GX, 3/3 Vika, 2 of the Grass Delmires, which has been the sort of new hotness for this deck. Powerful spin does 130, and this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. 130 is what you need to hit a Baby Buzzwell and a Garb and a Weavile, and that's just gonna absolutely crumb all the shrine decks. Basically, that's pretty much the intention.
Absolutely crumb.
It's annoying that it can't attack next turn. You can pay retreat and strong charge onto your next Delmise if you get them both out, or you can just Guzma and try and do it that way. So it's not like the best attacker. I can see this being traded in and out for the Lugia. Lugia can keep attacking, but it's an extra attachment, so there's debate for both, really.
I think Lugia survives so much more though.
Yeah, against Buzzwolls, Lugia's more annoying, so there is that. But yeah, Delmai is a pretty cool answer to the Shrine stuff. It is playing the Let Loose Marshadow, which has become like staple now. 4 Goose, 3 Synth, 3 Volkner, which is on the higher side for the Volkner count, guaranteeing those Candy Vikas. Couple Lilies, 4 Ultra, 4 Candy, 2 Treasure, 2 Nest, 2 Stretcher, 2 Recycler, 1 Switch, 2 Choice Band as the tool of choice, and 14 Energy. So fairly straightforward list. I don't have any qualms with it. I think making the spaces for the Delmise, you basically just cut a supporter and a treasure. I think that's the cuts that are made from like a standard list. That's really about it.
Yeah.
And the Delmise are necessary cuts, so...
Yeah, to keep them in the meta, you probably have to play them, or you have to play a non-EX attacker. Delmise one-shot as Lycans, that's another good point.
Oh, and Lycanrocs, good point, yeah. Let's look at Shemansky's Buzzgarb. He also played the 2/2 Sluggums. He played the 1 Sudowoodo, which means the Buzzwolves and the Garbs theoretically survive against Zoroark, but everyone's playing Kukui now, but you force it from them, which is good. Full Cynthia, 3 Goose, 3 Kukui. So that's trying to combo off the Magcargo, unlike the 4 Lily, just playing 2, but higher Kukui count. 1 copy of Judge, 4 Ultra, 3 Nest, 3 Acro, 2 Stretcher, 2 Switch, 2 Choice, and 4 Shrine. An interesting split there.
I don't like that. I prefer 3 and 3.
What's the theory behind the 4th Shrine over the band?
I don't know why it's over the band. In my mind, the theory behind the 4th Shrine is getting it super early.
But like it is over a band, right?
But yeah, it probably is over a band. I guess bands aren't being blown anymore, so they stick around a bit more.
If you want the Shrine early, you want the band early as well, though. Right? It feels really weird.
I was just about to say, both cards are kind of the same card. Probably see more non-GX decks, but neither work in either.
They both do nothing against non-GX decks.
I'd immediately prefer 3/3 just for versatility's sake.
Yeah, it's just you can't say one's better or worse. It's just strange seeing that count. That is really strange. I think I'd go for a choice band, like more choice bands over more shrines.
The other thing is, choice band is more immediate damage as well, so you're going to win the game more just by attaching a choice band and knocking something out than...
Yeah.
Sometimes shrine will only do 1 damage, whereas choice band always does 3.
Yeah. Maybe maybe the real strength of the shrine is he's wanting to bounce against Zoroark to keep the Buzzwole alive most. Maybe that's the idea. You just want to keep...
And if the Buzzwole's alive, you only need 2 choice bands because your Buzzwoles are taking 2 hits instead.
Yeah, maybe that's the theory. Maybe just keep your Buzzes alive against the Zoroarks more. Maybe that's the intention. 10 energy is what he's landed on there with a much more straightforward count. Then we see 2 Zoroarks, Dean and Poet Larson. We only get to see this list. It's going to be the 3/2 Lycanroc line, the 1 Let Loose Marshadow. So a lot of people are employing this strategy. I think it's an important card against Vikaray, to be honest. I don't like using it in Zoroark a lot of the time, because it's something that can't evolve into Lycanroc or Zoroark, which is really annoying. But maybe it is just the strats that we need to do to compete against these Vikarays.
I think in Zoroark, though, I'd almost always play Judge over Marshadow.
Yeah. 1 Roblox Pseudo as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Wow.
Why?
I can't place why exactly it's in there. But it is. It's definitely in there.
I mean, it's annoying, right? With with Baby Buzz wanting Diancie,
Magcargo,
Mycargo, and
Oranguru.
Oranguru on the bench already. It means they can't have second Baby Buzz or or Trubbish down. So, bench space, like now we have less of or more of a slower format. There are more different one-of things on the bench. So it means things get a bit more awkward. But usually it's a maths reason, right? And I can't think of the maths.
No, I think of it. Yeah, I think in this case it is more of a annoy the opponent's board card.
I think it is worth saying it is a very annoying card right now.
But for me, again, it's like if you let loose or like if you've pseudo widowed and Leylaid, and the Rockruff has to be down, like you're not getting many trades that game. It feels really weird to do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 Lily, 3 Goose. Double Ace Arola, I really like this choice in Zora Rock. Not many Zora Rocks play Double Ace, and I really like that choice.
Yeah.
Double Kukui, just the 1 Cynthia, 1 Mallow. Again, he's an Apricorn man over a Fan Club man.
Mm-hmm.
4 Ultra 4 Nest, 1 Timer, 1 Friend Ball. Oh boy, it's back again. So again, it can get you Lele's or Rockruffs or Zoruas based on matchups and stuff. 1 multi-switch, 1 stretcher, 1 power pad, 3 choice, 2 weakness policy as well. So we definitely saw the prevalence of the Zoroark players playing policy is like, those are the ones that did the best.
Yeah, definitely.
And the double Acerola and the power pad, or the double Acerola and the Lusamine,
I think that really contributed as well.
contributing to high placements, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think after we both played decks with double Acerola this weekend, while they weren't Zoro Rock, I don't think I would play Zoro without double Acerola ever again.
I think it's so mandatory for Zoroark to win any game at the moment, just to guarantee to undo damage. Because otherwise, you're like, even with partners like Lycanroc or Weavile or Bayonet to an extent, these cards can get one hit KOs at points in games. You still need to undo damage a turn here or there to win a Zoroark, I think, now. So
completely, yeah.
Really good. 3 Stadium as well. That's another feature of both the Zoro lists that we've seen so far. 8 energy total. A little on, like, the 1 less than we've seen previously, I guess. But yeah. And yeah, 3 Lele's as well. I did the same choice to play 3 Lele's. I like that he's continued to keep them at a relatively high count. Keeps enough to play around with for Writer's Beating for the entire game, and it's just a good card early on, isn't it, to get you the specific ones. So feels good. I like the 3 Tapu Leles. I enjoyed it throughout the weekend, drawing into not only for that turn 1 play, but also to get Mallow's Guarantee DC was a play that I did a lot. So yeah, good lists overall. So yeah, that is the meta for Philly. Now we're going to start talking about a quick discussion on what we think for Frankfurt for the sort of top decks, because that's a tournament that we're going to and we care about. So we're going to first of all slap down Buzz Shrine. Going to be here. I'm actually going to go Buzz Garb, Buzz, Weavile. I'll put them separately. We'll play. We'll put Zoro Rock, and we'll put Vika Ray.
Yeah, I think
these are definitely the
those
most important decks to worry about. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
3 or 4. I think Psychic Squids and Ultra Mally alongside Zoro Pod, Zoro Burnett, Garb, Zoro Weavile. These are all sort of all really important as well, I would say. Seeing as though we saw Zoro Burnett do well, and they're also cutting a good amount, I think these are also high priority picks to be concerned about. I think Zoroark in general will still cut a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
still on your priority list, and we saw Rukan do very well, so people will naturally pick that up. I think the Mali Shrine, it can still do well against the Buzzgar, but if they're employing the Weavile now, it's going to be shaky. Depends how thick the Weavile line gets, I guess, but
I think you can still do with a 1/1 Weavile.
you can still deal with it as the Mali Shrine.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they can as well, but
Like Shining Lugia carries you so hard for the first like 3-4 turns of the game. Then they Weavile you. Then you knock out the Weavile. I think they have to. I think if you deal with the Weavile twice, you win, and that means they have to one they have to stretcher it and get it out twice, and two they then have to find a way of dealing with Shining Lugias with Buzzwalls, or Garbs. And I think if you can play it okay, it should be fine still. I think when you look at I think Buzz Weavile is very difficult, and I think when you look at more than a 1/1 Weavile, it's very difficult. But I think a 1/1 Weavile wouldn't worry me too much, because I think you're probably still like 55-45.
sure.
Maybe more.
So from here, what do we think are other important things to look at? So Vikabulu, I'll put in just quickly. Just we've already mentioned Vikavolt.
Yeah.
Metagross and Magnezone.
Metagross, Magnezone, yeah.
Buzzrock. I'm actually gonna put
Buzzrock
Buzzrock
was...
up here. That's really low flying right now. Where do you sit on Buzzrock?
Um,
The Psychic Mally coming second is another hurdle for it. Like a new
that's one of the
hurdle
biggest
for it.
things that worries me, because Buzzrock used to win Psychic Mally by just being overpowered. Now you're not overpowered anymore.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden that little 2 times Psychic means so much more, especially as now you're probably playing 3 Buzz GX as well.
The fact that, yeah, I mean, Buzzgarb isn't a fun matchup. Luke will anecdotally tell us that.
Yeah.
The Psychic Mally, definitely not a fun matchup. Even Zorro Weakness Policy Bennett is going to be hard for him, I think.
Yeah.
For a Buzzrock, not just, like, I'm saying him, because I imagine Luke is thinking of playing that deck again, but...
It's like, I don't know. So Buzzrock feels like a really, really strong deck. It's going to sound so stupid when I say if you hit the right matchups, but it feels like a deck that could go 9-0 easily day one if you just dodge a couple of matchups, because it is really, really strong. But it feels like it has, especially after this weekend, maybe a few more problems. Considering even though, like Xander said, he would never play Zorro Bennett again, I think people will pick it up. I think more people will be looking at Mali again now.
Yeah.
Someone's just said Buzzrock seems to struggle with a Vika Ray setting up faster. I don't necessarily think that's the case. But
I mean, they still
now
have
playing...
3 baby Buzz, right? They can still do the baby Buzz side of things.
But at the same time, now they're playing 2 Delmires, they can also Delmire your Lycan Rocks.
Yeah, that's a real big deal.
So Buzzrock feels like a really strong deck.
It does have
in a lot of
it does have some
scenarios,
iffy matchups. Looking at it
but
now, like you don't want to face too many Vika Rays, you don't want to face too many Psychic Mallies, and you don't want to face too many Shrines. That's a lot of things to dodge. You're just trying to hit Zorro, right?
Yeah, and it's whether you think you can go 6-2-1 just playing, like relying on just pretty much hitting Zorros. Like I think you win almost every Zorro matchup that isn't Zorro Bennett.
I think
straight up.
Yeah.
I think Garb isn't good. Zorro Garb isn't good enough anymore, so you don't need to worry as much about that. So I think if you say you win everything but Zorro Bennett Zorro-wise, it's whether you think you can go on a 6-2-1 record playing Zorros and other random stuff. You probably, like, you also beat some of the random, like, super random decks as well. I don't want to trash it because I know Luke really likes it, and it really impressed me this weekend. But I think this weekend's results are a little bit iffy for it.
So we'll put Buzzrock actually further down. We'll put it here alongside the other stage 2 stuff.
I think it's, if we're saying the 4 bolded are tier 1, I think it's bottom of tier 2.
Oh, I was going to put it alongside the stage 2 stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm saying I think Well,
I have a
second money,
very
I'm actually
in my
gonna
mind. I have a
bold.
very very big tier 2 right now
But
because
my
I think
tier,
everything is playable.
I think my tier 2 is the other Mali stuff and the other Zoro stuff, just because it works the most.
Yeah,
And
that's
then I
fair.
think these are the stage 2 decks and Buzzrock because it is in a volatile meta.
Yeah.
What other decks was in that top 78 that we need to worry about?
Um. So we've got. I think that was pretty much everything. Other than the random things, you've got the Empoleon. There was a Beast Box. There was a Gardevoir. There was a
There's a
Zoro
Zoro
Guardi.
Guardi, was it?
There was two. There was a Gardevoir Swampert and a Zoro Guardi.
Okay.
There was a Passimian. There was a Sylveon. But all of these feel like very niche things that you don't need to be teching for.
Well, the Passimian isn't that bad against. Like, it's pretty good against Buzzgarb, and it's pretty good against Zoroark. But that's all it's pretty good against, I would say.
But I don't think you can expect to play more than one,
No,
right?
no.
So
Don't expect to play
I
against it, but I don't think it's the worst play, hilariously.
mm,
I mean, I faced against a Passimian, and I could see how it could cause people issues. It'll have to play a blower, though. It may even need to play Mad Cargo, to be honest. Like, I know Passimian's been playing, like, Energy Lottos and stuff. Maybe those 4 Energy Lottos just become a 2-2 Mad Cargo to complement your Guru. Oh, no, wait, you're running out of space with Passimians then. Oh, no, it's perfect. Perfect. Oh, no, you can't play Diancie then. Ah, damn
yeah,
it.
you can. You just can't play anything else. Three Passimians.
3 monkeys.
Oh no, you can't.
1 active.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a fourth monkey that doesn't read Passimian.
No.
Crumbs.
Orangu Imian.
Embarrassing.
No
Okay.
Executor.
I'm happy with that list. I'm happy with that list.
So then there's the new decks. Looking at the new stuff, I think we haven't mentioned Kiawe yet, so I'll put Kiawe in the sort of new and adapting
Yeah.
because people are going to look at Kiawe Reshi.
Yeah, I agree.
There's Dragonite.
Dragonite is a big one. Not necessarily a big one, but one I want to look at because 250 HP. Max potioning that every turn seems pretty annoying.
We've anecdotally heard a few people who enjoy it. So,
Yeah, 27 win streaks.
was being banded about.
Yeah.
Are there any other? Oh, Dramper Altaria. Broken. It's actually really bad, but I mean, it's not that bad.
Blaziken GX.
That's your boy. No.
Mark setting up with Blaziken GX.
He's playing Ho-Oh Blaziken. GX, Ho-Oh GXing all the Blaziken GXs out.
Broken.
Are there any other new things?
Wishy washy?
Wishy.
Question mark?
Wishy you were here.
You don't have to put that down. I don't think we need to think about that.
Wishy washy is terrible.
It is.
Kingdra?
There's a stage 2.
I know Pablo did a Kingdra video today. And I think he put some exclamation marks in his video, so it must be good.
I mean, the other fundamental thing to remember is these cards. The Dragon Majesty decks there won't be much time to test them, so I don't think you should weight your testing against them too heavily. I think the one you'll see the most is Reshiram Kiawe, because it's Ho-Oh Kiawe with a new friend. So a lot of Ho-Oh Kiawe testing won't be too different, but even then, the whole mindset of the deck is completely different. You're Kiaweing to a different target. You're you're using a different GX attack. But in general, I think yes, we've had access to these cards for over a week now, right? Nearly two weeks. But there's not the tournament results with them, and there's no big tournament until Frankfurt now. So it's not like we're going to get to see these perform in a big tournament until Frankfurt. And 2, they've still got to compete with what seems to be a meta that is beginning to settle down. That doesn't mean they can't do well. I think Kiawe Reshiram I'm actually regrettably quite excited about. But you know, I think they're risks.
The new
They could be
stuff.
calculated. Yeah, they could be calculated risks, and they could do very well. But at the same time, with no tournament to look at the lists and look at how they do and that kind of thing, they could as easily as being calculated risks also be very, very bad ideas.
So, looking at this then, if our main concerns are shrine decks, see, it's so diverse. There's no like. There's the issue that the Vikaray is a consistent Ohikeo deck in my book. It does get consistent Vika Vault turn 2 if they're not being let loose or judged. Either they're drawing 8 off Lily, and that oftentimes get them the pieces, or they're tempesting and then getting it the next turn. It is the most consistent stage 2 we've seen in a long time. That's just a one-hit go machine that can compete with the Buzzgarbs now.
Yeah.
And Zora Rock, I think its matchup got way better as well. I think the fact that Rock could deal with the first ray, and then the second ray that comes up only hits the next Rock for 90, and then it loses. That's just gone now.
Yeah.
So I think it can compete with Zora Rock way better than it could as well. I think Vikaray is pretty good positionally. I think it's a good play.
I think Vikaray might be one of the best decks in format after this weekend because, yes, the tech is out there now, but the tech is so good you can't tech against the tech anymore. Delmise is a really, really clean answer. Even Shining Lugia is a clean answer. You have answers for the Rock, which, like you say, is an issue. It looks to be a really, really strong deck. Like, you can't deal with the Vika Vault because they can Stormy Winds into the energy anyway. It looks like the deck to beat right now.
Yeah. Zora
But
Rock...
at the same time, you can't say it's the deck to beat because I think a lot of ways you beat Vikaray, you then just lose the Buzzgarb. It's such a weird format.
I think Zora Rock is sort of oppressing the other Zoro decks at the moment. Maybe not Zoropod, but I think Zoropod... it's underperforming at the moment, I think. I think
it can't deal with the mid-game aggression of the format.
Okay.
Zoropod has always been the super consistent, or I'll just do 120 every turn, but eventually 120 every turn will be enough damage counters that you lose.
Yeah.
Whereas now, it doesn't have the pressure that it had before from like Buzzrock, where you just lost on turn 2 because they KO'd turn 1 and turn 2. But like Vikaray kills everything mid-game. Buzzgarb racks up counters, so eventually mid-game they're killing everything, and then they have a big swing turn with Buzz. Psychic Mally is hard to say because like it feels like a super weird matchup that you have less answers now to the Marshadow, and just in general, it feels like Psychic Mally can win a bit more now. Pod is less good, but at the same time, I think Pod can just win that matchup through killing Malamars enough, because you're still you're a less consistent stage 1 deck. So if you kill 2 Malamars, you have 2 trades, and they don't, and then you need to deal with 1 Marshadow, and they're probably not setting up another Marshadow once they don't have Malamars.
For you, if you're going to play a Buzz build, like, first of all, are you scared to play a Buzz Shrine after it winning, and we're already seeing the creeping in of techs? Like, we know the techs to put in our decks to beat the Buzzgarbs now. Are you against playing it, or are you gonna play a mix of the stage 1s, or what are you thinking?
If Frankfurt was tomorrow, I still think I'd be fine playing Buzzgarb, probably with a 1-1 Weavile. I think the deck is still super strong. I think, yes, Delmai seems to be the super clean answer for Ray, but like we said earlier on, there is going to be some point during that game where you have to deal with that they have to play down Rays. I need to test I'd need to test the matchup more to work out how often a Vika Ray can just go, right, well, let's forget we even play Rays. Let's find two Delmais. Let's find two Vika Volt and just present two Vika Volt and two Delmais. Because then it feels like BuzzGarb really struggles. Because if you can do that without playing a fair amount of items, so Garbs aren't even one-shotting Delmais, then it feels like it could be a real slog.
Yeah, it feels over at that point.
But I think that has to be a super ideal setup for Vika Ray. I think Vika Ray, it feels like Vika Ray has the advantage a lot of the time, but it feels like they can make more slip-ups and give the advantage back to BuzzGarb.
Is playing Let Loose in a lot more decks the best answer to Vika Ray, or is it other non-GX attackers? Like how we've seen the Delmais go into Vika Ray to help the Shrine decks, is there going to be non-GXs thrown in to help the Vika Ray, or is it not that much of a priority for things outside of Zoroark?
The biggest thing is you can never really counter that kind of mindset with more non-GXs because Delmais is so good at dealing with non-GXs.
Yeah.
They're just going to deal with you right back. So I
but
think
you're taking energy off the board. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, that's big. I do think Marshadow or Judge is probably the biggest answer right now, though. I think I'd look at trying to play those over non-GX attackers.
Yeah.
Though it feels like every Vika Ray draws out of 4 cards anyway, so maybe you just have to find another answer. Vika Ray feels super oppressive now it's found its answer, though.
Do you think?
I think a good Vika Ray player that has even just average luck can take down any tournament now. Whereas I think before you had to have, I think a lot of Vika Ray players could have done it because the deck feels pretty linear and pretty, just blow up next turn, blow up next turn, blow up away one. But now there's more intricacies with I need to not play my GXs but still find a way of which means I can't Tempest, so I need to find a way of finding Vika Volt without Tempesting and getting a Delmais online. It feels more intricate now.
So on this list then, what's the best deck? What's the deck that has the most inherently good Vika Ray matchup? Is it something like Zoro Weavile if it then plays like a Fairy Lele as well as the Weaviles? Is it like Metagross that tries to take 2 turns against it? Is it what's the best matchup here? Is it Psychic Mally just trying to get your Dorming's GX attack off? I don't know where to place the best matchup.
I have no idea how to deal with a Delmais. This is the thing.
Delmais broken the game. 2 Delmais. Sometimes 1.
130 on a non-GX is insane. It's actually insane.
Is it Metagross just having sometimes too much hit points and hitting Rays for 1-hit KOs? Is it? I'm thinking it might be the high roller stuff. It might be the Metagrosses and the Magnazones of the world that can beat the Vika Rays, but because they have their own inconsistency, they can just lose anyway. Maybe it is Zoro Weavile.
Zoro Weavile.
Or Zorigadi.
Zorigadi was literally the deck I was just about to say. Zorigadi might how they can't. Well, Delmais does nothing against you as a Zorigadi, so they have to go all in on Ray, and then you have like a 3/3 Guardi in your deck. But that's so high roller.
And to be fair, Zorigadi, if it recycles its Healy cards, it may not be that bad against BuzzGarb Shrine. If we're playing Zorigadi with weakness policies and Healy cards, maybe it's the answer.
You can run them out of shrines. You can put your items back in.
This is all in a perfect world where we have enough space for all these things.
Yeah,
But...
I mean, it might just have to be super high roller Zorigadi, but then it feels like Zoro Rock has the advantage against you.
Yep, big time. That's the thing with all the Zoro decks.
Yeah,
You're getting oppressed
because
by
they don't
Zoroark.
care about a Guardi because they literally just detonate it with
Bop.
Dangerous Rogue, and you need to then find 7 energy or 5 energy, sorry, to get rid of their other's rock. And
Yeah.
at the same time you can't really play 2 Zoroarks down because then the 2 Zoroarks just get Guzma Claw slashed anyway.
Yeah, Zorogadi has no defense for Zoroark now. It used to with Gallade, but now it just has no defense, I guess. So yeah, this is a puzzle. It's a puzzle. Oh man. Jack.
Zoro Weavile isn't.
Zoro Weavile has an awkward Zoroark, and
And Buzzgarb I think is
that's one of the like.
super
I'll tell
difficult.
you for certain it's a hard matchup, even with policies, because if everyone's playing the cargo engine now, everyone will find their blower, and literally hitting blower is enough to blow that matchup way into your favor. The one
Mm-mm.
Buzzgarb I faced didn't play blower against me, so you have to take some losses sometimes. Well, of course, but you don't want to take any losses like straight up to the top decks. But there's just such a diversity with the top decks. Psychic Mali and Vikaray can be Ohiko decks. Buzzgarb and Weavile keeps you from being a combo deck or a super ability reliant deck. Zoroark keeps everything honest by drawing very good and gusting your big stuff. So there's a lot to balance on your plate right now.
Mm.
It's really rough. It's really rough.
And it feels like these top 5 are not super oppressive, but they actually push the also playable and high roller stuff so far. Like, I feel like there's a super big difference between the top decks and the other decks right now, which is kind of not reflected in the top. It kind of is reflected in the top 78 because 78 will naturally have a lot of variance, but these 3 decks have performed consistently very well in the first 3 weeks of the meta. Um, all bouncing around, trying to beat each other, whilst also all beating the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. They naturally beat the other stuff, and
They're
now
just
they're just
dancing around
competing
which
against
one
each
is the
other.
best. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Very interesting. Right.
It's an interesting format.
I need to go and have like a Barocca and a lie down after thinking too hard about this game because
Yeah, I've got a headache.
oh, I just know I'm going to be sad with any answer I come up with now. But that's pretty much our analysis of the early few League Cups and our own testing, and of course Philly. That's what we're looking at for Frankfurt, more or less. Maybe a new deck that we're not thinking of. Maybe it's unfair to call some of these decks high roller decks. Maybe there's something we've missed on the playables. Maybe that Sylveon deck was something to think about. The only reason I didn't put Sylveon was because Psychic Mali should push that out quite well. And so should Vikaray, really. Even though they can play DCs and multi-switch and stuff. That list was wild, by the way.
I haven't seen it.
Once we get that list, oh man, it's gonna be juice because it played on stream.
Yeah, I saw it playing multi-switch. It played. All I know is
So,
it played four hammers and 4 Plumeria,
yeah,
I believe, from what I
and
heard from the commentators.
yeah, so pretty juicy. Can't wait for all of that good stuff to come out. So maybe on Wednesday we'll have time to talk about them after the rest of the first to 9,
Yeah,
which yeah, should be fun. So that's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back Wednesday.
we will. Cheers, everyone.